Off we go on a Monday. It's the 14th of July. Welcome inside the vault for a Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. I'm Bobby Trossett. She's Sarah Ellison, and it feels like there's a lot to celebrate today to kick off this week because football returns tomorrow, Sarah. Rookies report to training camp, their first ever, of course, in the National Football League. And then a week after that, the 22nd, everybody will report. So not only do we have football to sink our teeth into, but as we've been seeing in the live chat, Sarah, as we've been seeing in our group message with Carly, who's our designer in this months in the making process that we've been a part of, officially set to unveil our merch line. Everybody's been using it, it looks like, this morning. The Vault apparel line is now live for our early access folks, right? For the patrons, our channel members, our Discord community. So if you are looking to have access to it, if you're looking to get involved there and you are a patron and you are a channel member and you are a Discord member, go check out the community post on YouTube. You can check out direct messages on Patreon. It's all there, everything you need. And then rest assured, for everybody else, a couple weeks time, it'll be made available to everybody. So it's been a lot of fun so far, Sarah, seeing not only these orders pour in so far this morning, but the excitement that's come along with it.
I love our Voltrons. Like before we even came on the show, I know you had put up a couple of posts to let people know. And yeah, like you said, the orders are already coming in. It just is so nice to know that like Vault apparel could be seen walking around in Baltimore, or I feel like we already got an order from Switzerland. Is that right? It's just like, it's already everywhere, or I shouldn't say everywhere, but it's already starting to pick up steam. And that really feels good. That's really awesome.
I joked with the Discord community this morning. They beat me to it. I haven't even put my orders in yet. I've been so busy here at the house and whatnot. I know you did.
I've got my orders in. Orders are in. Yeah.
Oh, you already know. You were the first. There's no question. But just to back you up there, the first international order was placed this morning from Switzerland, indeed. And Carly says that the crew neck and the T-shirt are the hot sellers so far. People are loving the purple sweatshirts, both hoodie and crew neck. So, I mean, it's awesome. And like you just said too, really, when you purchase one of these and you wear them in or around Baltimore, wherever you are in Switzerland, I mean, you're promoting the show. And I think that means a lot to us. This has been a months long process this offseason. We want to thank Carly, our designer, for working with us so closely and meticulously. And if you have any feedback, let us know. BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com. And just know, in terms of variety, the more this thing grows, the more encouraged we're going to be to kind of add to what we have in stock. So thank you so much. The Vault apparel line now available to patrons, channel members, and of course, Discord members. And it goes without saying, if you aren't one of those, become one over the next couple of weeks, and you'll be able to be a part of this.
Maybe you'll be gifted one by PHP or Chris or one of the many other generous people that are in the live chat.
And already giving super chats, by the way, are a few of those that you've just mentioned. So we'll get to them in just a second. But as promised, today's content, how can it not begin with Jeremy Fowler's latest, which is the NFL executive, the anonymous NFL executive column that he does every single year. It goes position by position. What did we talk about last week? Was it tight ends? Is that how it started?
No, it was tight ends we're going to talk about later in today's show. That came out after our show. I'm trying to remember. I'm like losing my mind now. Safeties.
Okay. Thank you. It was safeties because Kyle Hamilton, of course, led the list. Today's going to be, yes, tight ends, but quarterbacks are garnering the most attention, as you would expect. And as you see in the title, have they still not learned their Lamar lesson? The ranking, Sarah, suggests that that's the case. That's where we begin today. After that, it's Isaiah Likely and a potential little bit of movement here with his contract extension in the works, a number of other things, including quick hits. But let's begin here.
Yeah, let's dive right in. So these anonymous executives, scouts, and coaches all rank their quarterbacks 1 through 10. All of their grades are put together, and then that's how this list is made. This is courtesy of, again, Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, and these are what the anonymous executive coaches and scouts say. Number 1, no surprise, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Josh Allen. Guess you can make an argument for that since he's coming off of a MVP. But then they put Joe Burrow and then number 4, Lamar Jackson, followed by Jaden Daniels at number 5, Matthew Stafford number 6, Justin Herbert number 7, Jared Goff number 8, and you better believe everybody in Philadelphia feels disrespected for Jalen Hurts right now, coming off the Super Bowl win at number 9, and then sneaking into the top 10 is one Baker Mayfield, drafted the same year as Lamar at the top of the round, Lamar at the bottom of the round. So, Bobby, this came through as we were prepping for the show. What was your first reaction to see Lamar Jackson at number 4?
I'd say there was 3 things that jumped off right off the page.
Okay.
The first is what we're building this entire video about. It's Lamar being snubbed yet again. And honestly, at this point, it's beyond laughable.
Mm-hmm.
It's beyond that laughable. So that's the first thing that jumps off the page. We'll dive into that in a second, of course. The second is the new flashy toy who everybody's fired up about. Jaden Daniels cracked the top 5, Sarah, as a second-year player. Now, we spoke at the end of last week just how much the Commanders not only going to surprise, they're not really surprising anybody because they peaked very early last year and made a run in the postseason with Jaden, and he was unflappable along the way. So I don't think they're going to surprise anybody. I just think they're going to be able to sustain that level of consistency, especially with what they've done on paper. That's the second thing.
Okay.
The third thing is what you mentioned. Jalen falling to number 9 isn't a surprise to me, but it just sticks out being that he's the Super Bowl MVP and being that in the 2 Super Bowls that he's played in, he's been pretty darn close to flawless at the quarterback position. And yet he's well outside the top 5. Now, a lot of that has to do with what's around him. We get that. Okay. But those are the 3 things that jump out about this list. How about you?
Yeah, so we'll let the Philadelphia fans argue for Jalen Hurts. I get where they're coming from. I remember feeling the same way about Joe Flacco, although I feel like Joe Flacco was more of a impetus to their Super Bowl run in 2012. I feel like he was a major part of the engine, and yet people still didn't give him much respect. And I'm sure Philadelphia feels somewhat similar. But I want to dive in a little bit further into Lamar Jackson and the write-up that was given there. So, Bobby, one of the things that stuck out to me is what Jeremy will do is reveal what the highest ranking Lamar got and what the lowest ranking Lamar got. And he does this for all the quarterbacks. So the highest ranking, somebody out there put him as number 1, and maybe multiple people put him as number 1. What's bananas is that somebody put him as number 6. Number 6? And this is always so interesting to me, Bobby, because every time player lists come out, Lamar is frequently number 1. Maybe number 2. I'm interested in seeing the top 100 players come to an end on NFL Network because that is player voted, right? But executive voted, it always seems to favor more traditional quarterbacks and their style of play. And so, to me, this is why executives really still haven't learned their lesson. Letting Lamar fall to number 32, not trying to pursue Lamar when the Ravens gave him the unexclusive tag, and reporters getting reports that, this team isn't interested and that team isn't interested, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, really, Lamar Jackson is the 6th best quarterback in the NFL, according to somebody. Here's what's also interesting to me, Bobby. When you start to read some of the quotes from these guys, the quotes that give Lamar a ton of credit, would you guess they're coming from coaches or the executives that are upstairs in their offices watching their games? Who do you think?
Yeah, we all know.
It's coaches. Read this. The coaches that actually have to face him. Okay. One veteran NFL coach says because remember, he became the first player in NFL history with 40 passing touchdowns and 4 or fewer interceptions in a season. It's unreal. It's unreal, that statistic. 40, by the way, he had 45 total touchdowns, but 40 passing touchdowns and 4 or fewer interceptions. Best in NFL history. First player to ever do it. So here's this NFL coach. A 10-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Winning percentage is insane, 74.4%. And he's a leader rusher on any team he's on. He's one of a kind. So that's from a coach.
A veteran coach.
A veteran coach who has to face him. Okay. And by the way, the write-up talked about how unusual it was that Lamar won the first team All-Pro, but Allen got the MVP, talking about how winning a third award would put him in a short list of people who had 3 MVPs: Manning, Rodgers, Brady, Favre, Brown, Unitas. Those are like creme de la of quarterbacks in NFL history. And here's another one from a defensive coordinator. Best space runner in the NFL. He's such a good passer now. He probably doesn't get enough credit for how much he's improved there. And then finally, somebody from a personnel man inside, like, gives him some credit, right, in growing as a passer, but just is more like factual based rather than saying, "Ooh, one of a kind, doesn't get enough credit." He's like, I think he had to grow up as a passer. He was always more athletic than everyone else, so why not run? But he had to stay in the pocket a little bit more to prolong his career, and he's doing that increasingly well, right? Just not as glowing of remarks. So it isn't lost on me that the players and coaches give more respect than the executives who are watching film.
Correct. And that's an important note. I think one that maybe should be added in to the note of context, if you will, is Jeremy's speaking to a percentage of NFL executives, players, and coaches, right? It's not every single executive, every single player, every single coach. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So every year, it's almost like has to be somewhat of an asterisk on this. But when you go back to the list, how can you justify it? I'm almost trying to see a side in which this can be justified when it comes to snubbing Lamar at 4. And the only thing that I can come up with, we all know Mahomes deserves to be where he is, and I think we're in agreement on that. Josh, I guess it's because what have you done for me lately? Well, he beat Lamar in the postseason, even though they beat themselves, and then he was your reigning MVP. For Burrow, how do you justify Burrow? An unbelievable statistical campaign, but not good enough to make the postseason. Oh, by the way, it's been multiple years in a row they haven't made the postseason. So why is he there? Stylistically, he wets somebody's whistle. That's how it goes.
Yes.
That's the only way that you can justify 2 and 3, right? It's what have you done lately for Josh, and he beat him in the head-to-head. And for Joe, it's literally stylistically.
Josh, there's at least an argument to be had because he was up there with Lamar in stats, right? And he did win the MVP, even though I think it was a pity MVP because so many voters admitted that Lamar was better. And they had to like do mental gymnastics to give it to Josh anyway. But at least there's like an argument that it's like, hey, he's coming off of an MVP season. Again, with Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, it's just silly. They're in the same division. Lamar is 10-1 against the Bengals, 5-1 against Joe Burrow. And then people want to say, well, it's the defense. Well, remember, we went to another NFL MVP voters, Mike Sando's quarterback betrayal list. And for almost, I think it was like 16 weeks of the season, Lamar was betrayed by his team the most in the NFL. Then Joe Burrow came in and barely took the top spot at the end, meaning defense and special teams are betraying their quarterbacks. Both quarterbacks, and this is a 2025 ranking coming off of 2024, both quarterbacks were betrayed by their teams on special teams and defense. Both of them were. And yet Lamar, when he's healthy, year in and year out, takes his team to the playoffs. Joe Burrow does not. Lamar Jackson and the offense overcame their defense and special teams. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase did not. So to your point, why do executives give it to Josh or Allen? It has to be stylistically. Bobby, we just talked about how the coaches gave a bunch of love to Lamar. But if you go to, how do I go back to the screen grab? How do I go over there? It's not going. I hit add to stage and it's not going. But let me read to you. This is from scouts and executives who are not facing these guys. This is for Joe Burrow. If we're talking about playing the quarterback position, nobody is playing it better than him, meaning Burrow. Footwork, ball placement, the mental game at the line of scrimmage, feel for the pocket, eye level, finding creases to step up and throw. He's the best right now, and he's more mobile than he gets credit for. Another executive for Joe Burrow. I get the guy has 2 elite wideouts, but I don't know about the but behind that. It is 2 elite wideouts, but the rain game was average and the offensive line was not very good either. It's always excuses for Joe Burrow. On top of that, their defense was porous and he kept them in every single game for the most part. I thought it may have been his best year, but it didn't get the same pub because of other high-profile teams. But again, Lamar did overcome his porous defense. He did overcome Justin Tucker missing field goals left and right. Lamar did overcome it. So Joe Burrow's write-up from this executive is an excuse write-up rather than here's what he does better. Okay. And then the same thing. Remember, Josh Allen there was an anonymous executive who said that he was overrated. Was that last year? Or was that 2 years ago? I'm trying to remember now.
That was leading into last year.
It was last year.
Don't
okay.
remind Buffalo about that. That was their season type of theme.
Yeah. And I don't know that he's overrated. I think Josh Allen's a good quarterback, but again, it's the executives over the coaches giving him love. So this NFC personnel executive said he's done everything. He's answered every test. He makes less mistakes and takes care of the ball. One thing left to do is to win it all. I will say he did get better of taking care of the ball. And then here's another
big time. Big time. That was easily. Didn't he go from way above double digits to single digits this year?
He had 16 or 17 turnovers.
The year prior.
The year prior. And this year, he took it down to single digits. It might actually be in this write-up. Let's see, Allen's by the end. It was 18. Okay, by the end of the 2023 season, turnovers had started to mount. Allen had thrown 47 interceptions and had fumbled 18 times, 7 lost over a 3-year span. So it was like a recurring problem, and that's what led to his overrated title. But then last year he had 6 interceptions.
Yeah.
So, and I'm pretty sure it was around 16 or 17 the year before. So he for sure could have back, which is why I think there's an argument to maybe put Josh 2, but I think Lamar could also be 2. Joe Burrow, it just makes no sense to me.
Sure. Here's some national reaction on ESPN radio this morning, unsportsmanlike.
Say that Jalen Hurts is disrespected being number 9 on this list. How is he in any way more disrespected than Lamar Jackson? Lamar comes out of college winning the Heisman, and there's people saying he shouldn't even be a quarterback. When Lamar Jackson was at an impasse with his contract discussions with the Baltimore Ravens, teams weren't beating down the door to try to get at him.
Well, we know why now.
But still, I'm saying... Then he goes out, he wins 2 MVPs. He could have arguably won one this year, coming off what many people thought was his best year, even though Josh Allen got it. And he's below Josh Allen and Joe Burrow on this list. Make your case for Jalen Hurts being disrespected. I think if we're talking in totality, no quarterback has been more disrespected than Lamar Jackson.
But at least you're right. He should be 2 or 3. He should not be behind Joe Burrow. You're absolutely right about that.
In the postseason, he has not gotten it done, and Jalen Hurts has. On the biggest stage, not once. He didn't win 2, but he outplayed Mahomes in the other Super. I get it.
National reaction there from Michelle Smallman and company. And the numbers, Sarah, man, if there's I'm not sure there's a greater testament to Lamar in recent years than this graphic right here. Look at what he's done against teams with a winning record since 23, and look at where he ranks in these categories. There's 5 of them listed. He's first in every single one of them. 11 quarterback wins, 10.5 passing yards per attempt, 27 passing touchdowns to 4 picks, a 131.8 passer rating, and 31 offensive touchdowns.
All those ranked as first.
That's insane. First across the board.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt. And this is just why, just people continue to not learn their lesson. And one thing, Bobby, that I do want to kind of point out is, yes, Mahomes is still number 1, but Jeremy Fowler also wanted to make the point that he's losing the grip on number 1.
Yeah.
So the quote is, Mahomes' grip on the top spot is loosening slightly after dominating the voting with back-to-back number 1 rankings in convincing fashion. Mahomes garnered around 60% of the first place votes this year, which is still impressive, but well short of last year when he received all but 1 first place vote. So obviously still a winner, obviously has the most rings, but I think this is a going into 2025 type ranking. And I think even though his stats have suffered the last 2 years, what keeps him at number one is he plays his best in the biggest moments on the biggest stages. Now, that was not true in the Super Bowl, though, so that's why there's probably some slippage here. But Dan Orlovsky was asked about this list and the fact that Mahomes is losing his grip, and if that is fair to say one of these other three quarterbacks are threatening.
And obviously, the best quarterback in the NFL.
No, I mean, Patrick, out of that group of four, the top four, he was fourth last year in the league when it comes to just watching them play. The gap has never been this ridiculously big gap when it comes to Patrick, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow. All three of those guys had better seasons last year than Patrick did, yes. But there is the reality that Patrick, not once, not twice, but 3 or 4 times, has played his absolute best when it's been needed the most. Those other three guys haven't necessarily done that. And so is Patrick the best at the position? He's still the top dog when it comes to you got to go be your very best when it's needed the most. When it comes to the ability to play, those guys have always been kind of nipping at his heels. Josh Allen's coming off the best season of his career and an MVP. Lamar Jackson's coming off of probably the best season of his career and arguably could have been the MVP. Joe Burrow's coming off of the best season of his career. So the gap has never been that big. But the difference is those three haven't been their very best when it's been needed like Patrick has.
I think that's all fair. Fair.
I was just going to say, I have nothing to push back against there.
Yeah.
And think about that too. Think about how much of a murderer's row it is. I mean, we've talked about it ad nauseum. But the AFC, he just ripped off all those quarterbacks that had signature seasons last year, including Joe Burrow, who Dan just referred to as the best statistical season of his career, which is a fact, and he didn't make the postseason.
Yeah.
The AFC is an onslaught. I guarantee those quotes that you were reading from this anonymous, Jeremy's latest, you'd have to think those are NFC-related quotes. Right, up against Lamar, all the complimentary quotes. It's got to be NFC teams. He dominates them.
Oh, he dominates them for sure. And listen, if one of these three guys, Lamar, Allen, or Burrow, wins a Super Bowl, they're going to be the one to take over the top spot.
Sure,
they're going to be the one. And obviously, we need it to be Lamar. We need it to be Lamar.
Yeah.
So I think that Rashad Bateman said it well as to what Lamar does and what he means when he was speaking with The Athletic, Jeff Zrebiec. He said, quote, "If you really watch football, Lamar does a lot. He gives people jobs and he saves people's jobs. Lamar is a special generational talent," close quote. I'm guessing Bateman might be talking about himself a little bit because he has always given love to Lamar. But I'm sure he could be referring to John Harbaugh. I'm sure he could be referring to just about everybody at the Baltimore Ravens. He gives people jobs and he saves people's jobs. Lamar is special generational talent. Like, he sums it up right. He hits the nail on the head.
Hey, Sarah, I need some help from the chat here because it's either me or you, but you sound very robotic as of seconds ago, and you're also frozen. Is that me or you?
I do not see myself as frozen.
Okay.
And oftentimes I do. I can see it because I always have two screens open and I have one watching us, and I am not frozen. So, but maybe the chat can tell me.
Chat, can you guys help out? Because I'm catching every other word of Sarah. Some people are saying it's me. Some people are saying it's you. So sounds like it's a little bit of both. But let's get to some super chats.
Yeah, let me just hit one more thing real quick, Bobby, before we finish up this Lamar thing. I just saw over the weekend this tax guy, whatever, he's a Bills fan. He purposely put together rage bait that a lot of people fell into. The Fox NFL put the most rushing touchdowns over the last 3 seasons, and it's mostly a running backs list, except for Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. And a Ravens fan here says, "I spy with my little eye 2 tush-push merchants." And so this Buffalo Bills fan comes back and says, "Oh, Ravens fans say they have the best dual-threat quarterback of all time, but I don't see him on this list," which is just silly because, as Ian Hartitz point out, Lamar Jackson had 0 rush attempts from inside the 5-yard line last year. So I had to go look up how many of Josh Allen's came in from inside the 5-yard line. He had 12 total rushing touchdowns, 7 of which came from inside the 5-yard line, which accounts for 58, almost 60% of his rushing touchdowns. And if you look for Lamar, I had to go find this list. He's all the way down at number 29. And this is even a list that gave him at least one rush from inside the 5-yard line. So people's stats are a bit different back and forth. But if Lamar wanted to, he could have a lot more rushing touchdowns, but he also has Derrick Henry. So it's not quite as needed. I will give credit, though, to Josh Allen. He does have a big body, so it is smart to use him inside the 5-yard line. I don't hate that they use him that way. Why not use that big body to your advantage? So I don't hate that. But it just is ironic that Lamar blew him away in passing touchdowns. Lamar had 41 passing touchdowns. Josh Allen had just 28. Lamar's 45 total to Josh's 40. And so like everybody for years is saying, oh, you have a running back at quarterback. He can't throw. So then Lamar is like, all right, well, I'm just going to hand it off to Derrick Henry when we're, inside the red zone, or I'll throw it. So now he's like leading in total touchdowns, but now all of a sudden it's kind of like used against him because he's not running a lot inside the 5-yard line. So just, I know that was rage bait that they were looking for, but I just wanted to give the context behind all these rushing touchdowns and passing touchdowns.
Hey, you want to get us started on Super Chats? I'm going to come in and come out.
Sure thing. Let me head over there right now. Let's remove that. Let's say goodbye to Bobby. Goodbye, Bobby.
Catch you in a minute.
All right. So first of all, Nakia Riley just became a new member. Thank you, Nakia. Now you have early access to the merch line by being a new member. Same for Clore Lewis, although I feel like I've seen Clore before. JR Crypto, a new member. And then Douglas H. Brown Sr. is back with a super chat. Say, I know it's early, but I'm excited about getting my new Voltron gear. Yes. Thanks, Sarah and Bobby. Douglas also went on and gifted a new membership to somebody out there. Share, am I saying that right? Gifted 5 memberships. Very generous. Thank you for that. Chuck Lund also, man, the gift giving is already beginning. Began probably before the show even started. Chuck Lund gave a gifted membership also. Back to Chare. Not sure if it has been mentioned here, but JAD and Kyle Hamilton are cousins. So hoping JAD makes the team. Jalen Armour Davis is who that is referring to there. I don't think I did know that. Maybe I did and I forgot it. Nakia, a member for 1 month. And then here is Park Heights Prophet coming in with what he has promised that he would do at least one $20 super chat until the Ravens go 20-0. He says, keeping my word and my vault gear is ordered. Rookies report tomorrow, so football is back. The page is clean. The ink is on the quill. Will this story end right this year? I think it will. Hashtag 20-0. And then says, ready for my vault debut. LOL. Oh, we'll get you. We'll get you in here, PHP. When you are ready to be revealed. Eric Hill says, good afternoon, Sarah and Bobby. And then in parentheses, Bojita, by the way. Shout out to Romy, who sent us images of the AI Bojita, and that type of stuff may be coming out in a second phase. We have already sent it over to Carly, the designer. So we're trying to get the soft launch going, then we can come back for some more fun merch. So he says, good afternoon, Sarah and Bobby, Voltrons, current and former military and first responders. Let's have a great week. Yeah, let's have a great week. Nice shout out there, Eric. He also gifted a membership. And Mark Wigg became a YouTube member. Thank you, Mark. We're glad to have you. Ocean says, Burrow over Lamar is effing crazy. The hate is real. Laura Dillander says, need more purple. Love the items. Good, Laura. Get your purple. Purple Vault merch. Go get it done. Oreo Cookie is celebrating 1 month of membership. And he says, my 19th birthday is the 28th. I might get some merch for the birthday. Just maybe. LOL. Love y'all. I hope you do. I feel like that would be a great birthday gift. Oreo Cookie. JP Bugs with the $20 super chat. People are so generous here this morning. Thank you. He says, can we fast forward all of this and go straight to the postseason? I'm ready for January. Hashtag stay healthy. I hear you, JP, but you got to enjoy the journey. Definitely got to enjoy the journey. Here's Romy Raven, who I just referenced a minute ago. She is celebrating her 3rd month of membership. She says the merch is fire. Would buy a hoodie, but my neuro-spicy self can't handle polyester. I might get a t-shirt though. P.S. Did you get my Bojita mail? I did. I just gave an update on that. I hope you heard that. We have forwarded that on to Carly. Hopefully in phase 2, we will get to the Bojita merch. And speaking of Bojita, he has re-entered the
Apologies.
show.
Apologies. Romy is hysterical. She's been working behind the scenes on that. Maybe that'll, like you said, be in the near future. Marcus Frazier writes, the annual NFL quarterback bias list.
Yeah.
The real list are the NFL PA and NFL Top 100 by the players. Everybody knows by now the NFL's got their biases for quarterbacks. 7G Phil, and he is a channel member.
Let's go Voltrons. Had to grab the purple sweatshirt. Nice.
Heck yeah. That and the crew neck seems to be flying off the racks right now. Deshaun Davis writes, are we going to talk about how the Browns are making 30 second-round rookies not sign? Another Browns choice causing issues for the league.
Now, I do know most of the second-round rookies haven't signed. I didn't know that it's the Browns behind it. I'm happy to look into that.
Yeah, that's...
Because I knew it was about guaranteed money and stuff.
Yeah. Wait a second. It's Cleveland that's doing it?
That's what Deshaun's saying here, but I haven't heard that.
Well, help me out here, just because it's July and the football brain is nowhere to be found right now. But who was the player that set this whole thing up? It was Cincinnati's. It was Jamar Stewart, but he's not a second rounder.
Yeah, he's a first rounder. I think you're confusing the two.
Yeah. Lewis writes, PM Voltrons, busy time still with everyone away, but we'll listen till later and then finish up. Just ordered my merch, one day at a time. Grateful. Appreciate you, Lewis. Let us know which piece of merch you chose.
Oh, here's why. They're saying that the Browns and who else? The Browns and Texans apparently gave their second-round picks fully guaranteed contracts. Here we go again. So that's what he's referring to. I wonder if the new, yeah. Now okay. That's on Reddit. Now, yeah. So, but it does sound like those two are the two that have signed and they got their guaranteed money. So then obviously all the other second-round agents are like, wait, hold up. If these two got it, so it's probably one of those fully guaranteed standstills again of like, are we making this an aberration or is this going to be the new rule? And I'm sure the two sides are trying to stand pat.
Including Mike Greens.
Including Mike Greens.
That's Lewis, right. By the way, congrats on 4 months of channel membership. We appreciate you for all the support that you give us. And Park Heights Profit is celebrating that as well. 4 months, Sarah, with a super chat attached.
PHP's been busy this morning. He says there aren't enough characters on YouTube to discuss the hypocrisy surrounding Lamar. Too bad of a team or too good of a team. QBR, MVP, passer rating no longer matter when he excels. The hate is unreal. Crazy, because like the write-up is talking about how he does, like, you know, the touchdown to interception ratio, the QBR, like all of it. The passer rating, third or fourth best in NFL history. Doesn't matter, because then you have mental gymnastics. Oh, his team is so good. Oh, is that why?
You know, PHP's taking note.
He's getting me riled up.
You will revisit that when need be, I'm sure. Jang is celebrating 2 months of channel membership and referencing a little Discord exchange that she and I had, which was all in good fun. She says, Bobby, sup? Just popping in to say hi to you and Sarah and everyone in the live chat. Got to work hard to travel harder, LOL. You already know. And just so you're not in the dark, Sarah, she dropped in a selfie into the Discord over the weekend and was going on a Costco spree and all kinds of stuff. She was busy. And I, in the middle of 10 yards of mulch in the sweltering upstate New York July heat, decided to write her back with a sup, Jang. Thanks for dropping in the mirror selfie.
But how about Jang's new profile picture? It's pretty nice.
See what I mean?
Look at those glasses.
She's not messing around.
Those white rimmed sunglasses with what shape is that? The oval shape. And then the bright red lipstick with some pretty nice leather behind her in her car. I don't know.
Look, there was a reason why I said sup. It seems like she's got a lot going on. That's what she does. Okay,
and
Jane.
You've always said you are looking for a worldly, like is how you use it, a worldly woman who travels a lot. So I don't know what's happening here.
Utah native, seems to travel a lot, likes a good Costco run on a Saturday. Love me some Jang. Go Key. Goki with a 10 spot.
Oh, what's happening? Goki says the conversation is triggering because everyone is talking around the elephant in the room. It's mostly disrespectful to young black quarterbacks that will never be considered good enough. Then I hear what he's saying. Some people say, well, Patrick Mahomes, and they'll say, but he's, I think he has a black dad and a white mom. And so, that's where the conversation all starts to go and the debate goes for sure.
JL Green's chiming in. When it comes to saving jobs like John Harbaugh, let's not forget, in addition to Lamar, it was Ozzie Newsome's genius at picking him. And Douglas H. Brown Sr., who's a channel member, dropping in as well.
He says we can't keep up with PHP. Who can? Very generous.
Let me just say, because I was having strange internet disconnectivity issues when you were reading off the first 10 or so. So thanks to everybody for all the support today. And let me just say as well that today is brought to you by our sponsor is us. It's the Vault merch line. And Sarah, I was wondering, do you think that there'd be anything wrong to do a quick little screen share just to tease people?
That'd be great.
But just show off the website a little bit?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So just to kind of give it a lay of the land here, months in the making, this morning we dropped our first ever Vault apparel line. It's something that we've had calls for what, years, Sarah? I mean, people have wanted this for a while, and we felt like this was the off season that we should get out in front of it. And so with the help of our designer, Carly, and her team, we have officially unveiled this in the form of a soft launch. So for the next couple of weeks, patron members, channel members, and Discord members will have early access to the Vault's apparel line. And then once we get to a point, probably within the next couple of weeks, we're waiting on, I think we have an official date. I just got to go check the calendar. We will then roll it out to everybody. And so just in the spirit of inclusion, here is what it looks like right now. You're seeing the T-shirts. I saw Jason earlier on say that Jason Zarotniak went and got a couple tees immediately. The sweatshirt and the crew neck, Sarah, seems to be a popular item this morning. And I know that, well, what was your initial haul?
So I started with, just because, I work out and it's summertime. So I started with the women's tank tops.
Yeah.
So I started with those. And then I also got one of the, keep scrolling right there, the snapback hat.
Yeah.
I got one of those. And I feel like I got a fourth thing.
Okay.
And now I'm forgetting what it was. But I'm going to go back. I sent the link to my husband and kids. I'm also going to get them all some apparel. So
yeah. Love it.
But when the winter comes around in the fall, I will be loading up on some of these hoodies and crew necks and maybe even some of those snow hats.
You already know. That's a must.
Oh, did you know that you put the slides back up? Okay, yeah. Sometimes StreamYard can be weird.
Getting ourselves ready for the next topic. But yeah, look, this is at a glance, thevaultpod.com. Needless to say, if you are chomping at the bit and you can't wait for the next couple of weeks and you are not a patron, a channel member, or a Discord member, you can become any of those three and we will give you immediate access to the merch line. So that's how it goes. That's how we've been sort of guided here by Carly. And we're really looking forward to, hopefully, Sarah, enhancing this thing step by step as the merch line itself grows and as people become more interested and maybe as the season takes off. So excited to finally roll this thing out. Doesn't it feel like it's been sort of months in the making?
Yeah, but I got to give you so much credit. I feel like, you've worked with Carly quite a bit. Took us a minute to finally find logos that we could recreate. And, I think you found some graphic designers to do that for us. And yeah, just a big shout out to Carly for building the website and for, she's like the point person with those that actually, churn out the merch and get it mailed. And so just a big shout out to her and all of her work.
It's been pretty cool to get those updates over text this morning, right? Like, the first international order, like we mentioned earlier on in the show, was Switzerland. That's been placed. And the first couple orders came in literally under 5 minutes. I checked the timestamps. I sent everything out this morning. 5 minutes later, not even, we had our first couple orders placed. So needless to say, thank you guys. We really believe that when our merch is being rocked, whether it's in the Baltimore area or not, you are promoting the show to some extent. And so that means a lot to us, and we appreciate the support.
Hey, this question right here, Bobby, Laura saying, just to clarify, we need more purple shirt options. Love the look on the hoodie. Don't all of them have a purple option? Like if you click into them, there's more than like a black or gray option, or is there not purple options on more?
Tell you what, why don't I bring this back up?
Yeah, click through and let's see how many purple options are there. Because that's good feedback, if not.
And it was also good. I needed to be more thorough on the screen share presentation. So yeah, Laura, so anything that you like, let's say it's the sweatshirt since it's white, just click on it. And okay, so there's no purple option for this specific unisex hoodie, but let's see if there is for the crew. Okay, so the crew neck, obviously there is, right? Because that's
crew
purple.
Neck has lots of options, yeah.
Is there another sweatshirt though? There is.
Oh, this one right here.
Let's see if this. Okay,
that one has a purple.
So Laura, if you like purple in this vault one, maybe what she's saying is that she enjoys the logo.
Oh, that one.
That's not an option.
So that's something that we can talk to
Carly. Yeah, we can definitely talk to Carly about that.
Okay.
Which is the exact feedback that we needed. Maybe that was it. The point is, though, and I should have specified, and it's pretty easy once you start toggling, every single one of these is clickable, which will allow you to, take the next step.
Colors. Yeah.
So not only divvy it up with color, but, size and so on and so forth. So thanks for the feedback, though, Laura. It's good stuff.
And just because we're on the topic, I'll get to these super chats. It says, Douglas H. Brown got me a coffee cup, a hat, and a purple hoodie early this morning. Holy moly. Thank you, Douglas. And Osmodia says, Jang, you may very well be the future Mrs. Trussett. Just to make sure we're not being disrespectful, is Jang single?
I probably should have asked that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. She's funny. Jang, let us know what's going on.
Yeah. Just don't want to be disrespectful to who she may be with,
No doubt. Carly's in the chat too. She's already on it.
Oh, she's on it. Okay, thank you.
Make sure. Wait, hold on. Let's give her official introduction here, just because we've been saying, no name Carly all day long. Here is Carly Fleischer, ladies and gentlemen, as recommended and referred to us by the wonderful Jake Asman, who we appreciate from Jets country. So yeah, there's Carly. Appreciate you, Carly. Thank you. I love how she watches now. Have we made?
I know.
Have we made habit out of that or what?
She did say last week in her text that we're her new background noise.
Right. Which we were both like, wait, just background? Are we white noise?
Yeah.
Or is she actually like taking us in? What do you think?
Well, she's clearly listening enough to like come in and comment. So right. At least during this portion. So thank you, Carly.
And thanks to Laura for getting us started on the feedback train. With that, shall we talk a little bit about the potential newest candidate for a Ravens contract extension, Sarah?
Sorry, one more thing. Laura's saying, look at the women's tees. So just Carly, she's looking at women's tees, hoping for more purple. Just wanted to put that out there.
Or I'm going to send you Carly's email. You can send her all your
Laura, you just go straight to her. Why should we be the middleman? Like, let's just let her go straight to her. Yeah.
Literally.
All right. Sorry. Yes. Oh, okay. So, kind of resetting here. Over the weekend, there was a news report, okay? It's not like it was from Adam Schefter or an Ian Rappaport or a Jeff Zrebeck. And so this person sometimes gets it right and sometimes doesn't. But I think that there's probably, we think this is where the Ravens are going anyway. But Ricky, or at Slick Rick Scoops, is his name, has almost 35,000 followers. He reports, next up, the Ravens have already made an extension offer to Isaiah Likely at $13 million per year, and puts in parentheses, it's the same deal as Mark Andrews. Now, of course, Mark Andrews got that deal a few years back. He's now on the last year of that 5-year deal. So listen, I don't know how reliable this report is. Ricky has gotten it right before. He's also gotten it wrong before, like I said. But Bobby, it wouldn't be surprising to me if the Ravens have indeed already made a contract extension to Isaiah Likely. What say you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're lockstep on this one. He's clearly a part of their future plans. Everything that he's put out on tape, how he's conducted himself throughout his rookie contract. Can you think of anything that's a knock on the guy? Okay, his cleats from week 1 of last year. What else? There's nothing else. There's no knock on Isaiah Likely. And clearly he has everything that it takes. Clearly the DNA to be not only somebody that's regarded right now, Sarah, as a top 10 NFL tight end, but as somebody that could very well be a lifelong Raven. I know there's a lot of people in this chat that hope that that's the case. But think about it. The Ravens, according to most, and according to the most recent list that I know we shared, the outlet, and the name of the outlet escapes me right now, but there's a legitimate argument to be made. The Ravens have 2 top 10 tight ends. And I think a lot of people feel like, and I myself included, had Isaiah not been in a by committee role really much throughout his rookie contract to date, he might be a household name by this point. So not sure what Ricky's batting average is these days. He definitely went on a little bit of a run over the weekend, or at the start of the weekend, kind of breaking his social media hiatus. So it'll just be something to watch. But the timeline certainly suggests that Eric's been working.
Well, and 13 million, even if you were making that up, right, is probably in the ballpark. So I pulled up here from Spot Rack the top 10 highest paid tight ends in the league right now. And Mark Andrews is actually at 14 million per year. So, it's a little bit off. But if Likely were to get 13 million, it would put him around top 6, top 5. And it's very interesting because you and I are definitely on the same page in that Isaiah Likely is probably, he's going to be tight end 1 of the future. And the Ravens are fortunate that they have 2 top 10 tight ends inside their building. But that's only possible because Isaiah Likely is on his rookie deal. You can't do that with 2 veterans unless Mark Andrews is like, hey, I want to stay here, and now I'll take a lot less going forward. And so the interesting part would be, so he's projected to be tight end 1. And so that figure, if it were 13 million, is tight end 1 money. But it's obviously not top of the market, which I think would be tough to do right now, seeing as he's been tight end 2. He has the potential to be tight end 1, but his numbers are tight end 2 stuff. So it would be hard to give him a contract that would reset the market, right? Now, if he were to wait and bet on himself and say, hey, I want to go through this season and see what I can do now, maybe he would have a big breakout season. It would still be difficult to do, though, with Mark Andrews, as long as Mark Andrews were healthy. I don't know that he's going to have the opportunity to put up numbers that would say, hey, I should reset the market. So to me, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to take just tight end 1 money, because he's going to be tight end 1. And if he does start to take over the league and becomes the best above, George Kittle, Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, and Mark Andrews and all the rest, then he can pull a Bateman, right? And come back to the table and say, hey, EDC, you signed me before I had my breakout year, before I had my opportunity. So can we re-up this contract? And so, that could always be a possibility. But right now, being tight end 2, I think that tight end 1 money would be fair without resetting the market.
Yeah, playing without that future security is a gamble. Just ask Lamar earlier on before his mega extension. Isaiah would be taking a gamble if he were to play this upcoming season again, as every single tight end will in this room in Baltimore, including the fullback, on a contract year. Back to Jeremy Fowler's list, and you've got execs, coaches, and scouts, as we discussed at the top of the show, related to quarterbacks, ranking the NFL's top 10 tight ends for 2025. And Sarah, the group of folks that he spoke to agrees with PFF just a little bit of different, mumbo jumbo here with numbers. But both Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, according to execs, coaches, and scouts, also find their way in the top 10. Mark is 6. Isaiah is 8. And I might as well read the top 10 for you because there has been some shuffling in recent years. Look who's taken over the top spot from Kittle and Kelsey. It's Brock Bowers in Raiders country, a second-year player. George Kittle is 2 in San Francisco. Sam Laporta in Detroit is 3. Trey McBride in Arizona, he got the big deal recently, is 4. Travis Kelce, top 5. Andrews, like I mentioned, is 6. TJ Hawkinson in Minnesota is 7. Likely comes in at 8. Dallas Goedert in Philly is 9. And David Njoku for Cleveland rounds out the top 10. So what were your thoughts on the way this shook out?
This one feels more fair to me than the Lamar one. I think Lamar should be up 1 spot, if not 2. But I feel like it's a credit to Isaiah Likely that he's on this list as a tight end 2. I don't see any other tight end 2s on here. All these guys are like the guys on their teams. Mark Andrews there at 6 is pretty fair. Kelsey has dropped off, so he's gone to number 5. Here's the write-up for Isaiah Likely. His highest ranking that he got was 5, and the lowest was unranked. I think, let me see real quick. Yeah, Mark Andrews is almost the same. The lowest he got was unranked, and the highest was number 3. And the write-up says, cracking the top 8 as a tight end 2 is an impressive feat for Likely, but his profile in Baltimore is growing. He averaged 8.2 yards per target, ranking high within this tight end pool. His 4.3 yards of separation per route, 4.3 yards of separation. That's nasty. Per route is also among the best for his position. A veteran NFL coach says he's a matchup guy, very loose, can separate, big catch radius, pretty diverse route tree. Obviously, it talks about him becoming a free agent in 2026. And Fowler reports that Baltimore has interest in re-signing him. That's why the Ricky report isn't crazy. Baltimore has interest in re-signing him. He would have a fruitful open market waiting for him. Likely had 13 red zone targets, the most of any NFL tight end who isn't the primary starter. He turned those targets into 8 catches for 56 yards and 5 scores. Bobby, Eric DeCosta cannot let Isaiah Likely test the market. Can't do it.
No, he cannot. And then as far as Andrews and his write-up, like you mentioned, some of the rankings here, his highest was 3. Lowest was unranked, as Isaiah's was. He's 29. Last year's ranking, he was top 3 in this survey. And then here's the write-up. Andrews held up in the voting despite declines in yards and catches per game compared to previous years. We know why. It was a really slow start. Some of that was due to performance. Most of that was due to health, I would think, based on all the information that you gathered about the severity of that car accident during training camp. Jeremy goes on to write, but he was highly efficient when Lamar looked his way. Andrews produced a 140.9 passer rating for his QB on 69 targets with 55 catches for 673 yards, 11 touchdowns, and just a pick, meaning he was on the wrong end of that. The crucial end zone drop on a game-tying 2-point attempt late in the AFC divisional round loss to Buffalo is unfortunate, but doesn't define his game. Quote, elite instincts, a QB's best friend, an NFL coordinator said. Quote, dominates the middle of the field, understands zones and man-to-man better than anyone outside of Kelsey. Baltimore is a totally different team without him. Bummer about the playoff game thing. Because this guy is a total G, end quote. High praise.
Very high praise. Very high praise. And it does let you know that, coordinators still have a hard time, game planning against him. And it is nice because it was mostly just Andrews in the past. And it is nice that Isaiah Likely's emerging along with some other guys. So it's not just one. But I do expect, it's interesting because Mark Andrews had a community event, and I'll explain that in just a minute, but Jeff Zrebiec was there over the weekend, and Andrews told Jeff Zrebiec, and Jeff said it was with a smile. Andrew said, quote, I've had to eat a lot of crap. I think that's Jeff's word, kind of filling in there. I've had to eat a lot of crap, but I'm not done yet. I've got a lot left to do for the Baltimore Ravens. And when I read that, I love that, Bobby, because He has eaten a lot of crap, and justifiably so, right? After that playoff game of the fumble and then this drop. So I think it's justified that he's gotten some crap about it. And I think it's great that he's taking it in stride. And it should motivate him to say, I'm not done yet. I've got a lot left to do. And I hope that's exactly how this turns out. I obviously want to see Isaiah Likely thrive too. But yeah, the everything is justified in that quote, and I hope he can turn it into his best season yet.
You mentioned the quote came from an event, and that was between Mark and Dexcom. They hosted a camp in Baltimore. Jeff and others were in attendance for it. It's part of Dexcom U Signing Day, the only NIL program created for college athletes living with diabetes. Obviously, Mark is a professional athlete who lives and thrives with diabetes. And as Mark said, it's something that hits home for me. So good stuff there. His girlfriend is pictured there as well, Elena, and they seem to be a super happy couple and have spent a lot of time together this offseason. I believe I read that Mark is in Baltimore for the long haul now, meaning leading up till when veterans report coming up next week. So you have to think he wants to get a nice leg up, Sarah, on just this upcoming season, and most importantly, putting all of that took place last year behind him. And one more note from his write-up too, if I could. What I love about this is sort of the instincts, the instinctual part of Mark's game, and that this coordinator refers to how he almost exploits defenses, right? Mm-hmm. Understands zones and man-to-man. How often does Mark find that soft spot? And just he kind of waits, and it's the improvisation that he and Lamar have been able to feed their families with over the years, and why he's been referred to as the security blanket. He's such an instinctual, well-studied player. I'm not sure that's talked about enough when you think about Mark Andrews as a study. And so I thought that was interesting that of course a coordinator is going to mention that, right? The schematics, the IQ part of Mark's game.
It's why he's a top 6 tight end, and it's why Lamar always comes to bat for him. And so what's left on Mark Andrews' resume, it's come up big in big moments. That's what he's been criticized for. It's not his production. It's not being a security blanket for Lamar. That's always been phenomenal. It's always been a good thing. Lamar's gotten a lot of crap himself in national media for not coming up big enough in big moments. And usually he's the only one that catches that. And so everybody else needs to take accountability too, including Mark. And he didn't do it right away, but he has done since. And I fully expect a highly productive season, but I need to see him come up big in big moments with everybody else on the Ravens.
On to quick hits we go. What do you got for us on Jamar Chase? Chatting it up a little bit.
Jamar Chase was asked on a podcast who the top 5 cornerbacks in the NFL are. And Bobby, listen, it's just all facts. But I don't even think he gives the Ravens, anybody on the Ravens in terms of cornerbacks, a thought to make his top 5 list. Listen to this.
I saw you do an interview recently, or it went viral recently, and you talked about, your top 5 receivers in the league. Who are your top 5 corners in the league? Somebody asked you. Well, I'm asking you. Jamar Chase, top 5 corners in the league.
I got to put Denzel on there. I don't really play, too many on the other side. Besides the AFC. Joey Porter, pretty smooth. He just long. I ain't played too many people, and I don't want, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's going to be fun going against Ramsey and Darius Slay. I had an opportunity to go against them this last year, and, him my rookie year. That's 4. I'm going to go with 4. 4? All
right, well, we'll take it. We'll take it. So you put a tweet out yesterday, right? You was talking
Derek Stingley. I'll put Sting in there.
Sting. Okay. Yeah, you guys had some good battles.
I'm about to say, I'll put Sting in there. That's my dog.
Okay, so, Bobby, he named a lot of guys in the AFC North or coming to the AFC North beside, like Denzel Ward, Joey Porter, Jalen Ramsey coming, Darius Slay already signed, and then Derek Stingley. He's like, I haven't matched up with a lot of guys. And it's like, oh, you matched up against a lot of Ravens. So, and by the way, I want to make sure I'm naming that podcast. That was the sit down with Malik Wright. So that's where that podcast and that soundbite comes from. And Bobby, so he slighted the Ravens cornerbacks, but is it not justified? Look at Jamar Chase's numbers against the Ravens. He's had 58 catches for 962 yards and has scored 8 touchdowns in just 8 games. Bobby, that's an average of 120 yards per game against the Ravens. That's an average of 1 touchdown per game against the Ravens. And the last game was the worst one yet. 264 yards and 3 touchdowns. How in his right mind could he put any Ravens corners in that list when he just continually exploits the secondary? Now, I'm hoping the Ravens can turn things around, but woo, it's bad.
Yeah, let's call it spade a spade. He can talk whatever he wants about the Ravens secondary, and that for one. And two, was that a list? He was just naming guys. That wasn't a list. Darius Slay's not a look, all due respect, he's not a top 5 corner at this point in his career. So I don't know what that was. Was that like mind games? Because these guys are coming to the AFC North, Ramsey and Slay. I don't know what that was. That was not a list, though.
I don't know, but he gave a lot of love to those Steelers guys, though. Like he's basically named the whole Steelers, top expected top corners.
He did. And
so,
Porter might be the truth.
And it just is telling that, like, if he's just blurting out names, Marlon Humphrey wasn't in there.
Yeah.
You know, Nate Wiggins, the newcomer, wasn't in there.
No.
Ravens got a new one coming with Alexander. That wasn't in there.
He's just naming off dudes. That was like, he must have been really put on the spot there. Either that or it was more calculated than we're giving him credit for.
Well, regardless, I think it says a lot.
More quick hits. Off we go. This was at the end of last week. Several reporters were on this, that the Harbaugh boys, the Harbaugh brothers, that is, John and Jim, accepted an invitation to the White House. And here he is. Here they are with President Trump and a few other. I don't know who the other folks are around him.
I don't recognize everybody. I'm forgetting the guy on my right. Yeah, the screen's right with the blue tie. I'm forgetting, but he's definitely helps with. I feel like he's talked a lot about tariffs and things like that. So certainly on the financial part, he's on the administration. To the left in the leather jacket, that's the CEO of NVIDIA.
Oh.
So I did not have on my bingo card that the Harbaugh brothers would be in a picture with Donald Trump and the CEO of NVIDIA. I don't know who the guy is on the far left in the red tie, but obviously, given how divisive politics can be, at least half the country is going to like to see this. At least half Ravens fans, if not more, because Baltimore definitely leans more left. But what I like about John Harbaugh is that regardless of who's in the White House, he'll go. So I was with, obviously, the team the first time the Ravens went when Barack Obama was the president. And so, if you get an invitation, regardless of the president, John Harbaugh will go. So there he is with that number 44, Mr. President jersey, and then Ozzy and John and President Obama walking. And Bobby, I just had to throw in there, I was there for it. That was one of the coolest days of my life, for sure. That was the social media, or the web team at the time. It's much bigger now. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. And I was, I think, a month removed from having my third baby. That was about 12 years ago. 12 years ago, because she's 12 now.
Look at you.
What a look back. And then I got a picture there with the Lombardi trophy there at the White House. That was a cool day. That was a cool day. And you guys probably recognize, look how young Ryan Mink is there, and Garrett Downing, who's
look at Dave Lang in the middle of those two guys. My buddy Dave Lang. I love Dave.
Yeah. Look at John Eisenberg over there.
Yeah, look at Eisenberg and Michelle in the middle.
That's great. Yeah. That was such a cool day, for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. Let's see. Continue on with quick hits.
Yeah. Do we want to get any? Should we do the super chats afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll sneak those in afterwards. Patrick Rooney Jr. makes a clear statement, as Kevin noted here on X, on the state of the Ravens-Steelers rivalry. Rooney wrote, Baltimore is just a better team, and I think they finally realized it by kicking the crap out of us in the playoff game last year. They're going to steamroll us this year. Again, Rooney, you might recognize that name, and you're like, well, Jesus, is he affiliated with the Steelers at all? He is not, but he's a first cousin of their owner, Art Rooney II. So, wow. That's a statement.
Yes, that's a statement.
Can't imagine family's too pleased with that, but
well, he's just stating facts. Baltimore's just a better team, and I think they finally realized it by kicking the crap out of us. The Ravens have been a better team. They should have been kicking the crap out of the Steelers ever since Ben Roethlisberger left, so finally they did it. That was hilarious. They finally realized it by kicking the crap out of us.
Goodness gracious. Guess so. Oh, man.
That was a great quote.
Elsewhere,
about this.
Jacoby Jones, 1 year ago today, we lost him far too early, far too soon. Not long after, of course, his 40th birthday. So his 41st would have been a few days ago on the 11th, I believe. And today marks 1 year. And as Catherine Terrell notes here, she put out a nice piece. She's a Saints reporter. She put out a nice piece on him on ESPN.com. And I believe in a way of keeping his memory alive, Torrey Smith, his former teammate, and of course, former Super Bowl champ in Baltimore, went down to Louisiana to run a youth football camp in New Orleans this summer, which is so Torrey, right? It's something that he would just step up to do. But I thought it'd be a nice way to just remember Jacoby. You and I were both moved and also shocked to have been one of his last interviews.
Yeah.
It was during the draft. It would have been the 2024 draft where Jacoby was kind enough to come on our show, our megacast, for what felt like it was funny. It was a two-way interview. Remember Marlon was on as well, and Jacoby came on, and he was driving. Like, it was just such a Jacoby interview. And so obviously, he leaves behind his son and who he really was his best friend, his mother. And so we wanted to say a shout out to them. We're praying for them and all who loved one of the greats, Sarah, one of the greats, Jacoby Jones.
Yeah. And the Ravens put out a video of, untold stories of Jacoby going through the miracle at Mile High again. And it was just, I watched the whole video once again. And it was just like, he's just so funny. Yeah. He's just so funny, bringing, a smile to your face. And I remember teammates, Jimmy Smith, just talking about Ray Rice. Remember that Jacoby just put a smile on people's face all the time. Yeah. So it's a loss for sure, but happy to commemorate him and celebrate his life.
Yep. How about this too? A Saturday in late May, Torrey Smith found himself sweating in the New Orleans heat, attempting to corral a group of 317 kids ranging from ages 8 to 14. And again, this was the Jacoby Jones football camp. So what an awesome way to keep his memory alive. And if you know anything about Torrey Smith, he's going to find his way into anything that's charitable and anything that is a good deed. And it seems like that was exactly that. So
for sure.
Let's get to some super chats before we jump here. Let's see. We left off with Laura, right? Or no, Shallow Water Hunter. Laura said, look at the women's tees. We had that up there.
Yeah, you just got to back up by one. There was somebody that we skipped in between.
I'm sorry?
There's one above her that we didn't get to.
I think we had this, right?
We just didn't shout it out.
Ahead.
Anyway, Shallow Water Hunter says the season can't come soon enough. # 15 minutes or less.
Wait, is that a reference to what we once were?
Maybe. I was wondering what it meant.
Tell me that was a reference to our initial format.
Our initial format was like all your Ravens news in 15 minutes or less. And then it went to 20. And then we were like, let's do 30. And then we went live. We were like, let's do an hour. And then those always spill over to 90 minutes to 120.
That's hysterical.
We've grown.
If that's indeed a reference, I think that's hysterical. That's great. Draydog679 says Bojita t-shirts gonna go crazy. You're welcome, Bobby. We haven't gotten that approved yet. Carly has not yet approved those, Draydog, but thank you. Thank you for starting up this entire madness. Okay. That prompted Sarah to text me on Friday, or it was our off day or something, being like, I'm getting on top of this right now. I said, okay, go do your thing.
Oh, as soon as Romy sent the email, I was like, dude, we got to send it to Carly. And you're like, well, I won't stop you. So I was like, fine. And like 5 seconds later, Carly had it.
Unbelievable. Dreams with some feedback says the Vault hoodie needs the wheel on the back.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
This is good feedback.
Like
by the way, if you could email us with any legitimate feedback that you guys have.
So we can just forward it on to Carly.
Yeah. BaltimoreRavensVault at gmail.com. For those of you who are just tuning in, today's our soft launch day. The Vault apparel line is now available to our channel members, our patrons, and our Discord community. So if you'd like to become a member of any of those three, you'll immediately have access to the Vault merch line. E-Man Watts is celebrating 1 month of channel membership. Wants to let everybody know. We appreciate you, E-Man. And Park Heights Profit, Sarah, checking in with a super chat and a $10 spot.
Oh, because Jang, I know you're going to get to it, but she confirmed that she is indeed single. So there's that, my friend. He says, Bobby, you can meet Zhang at my official Voltron tailgate for the Detroit game. Will PHP gift memberships and love? Purple wedding? Maybe I can officiate. I will make sure the food is romantic. LOL.
I love it. Anything romantically for me just takes on a life of its own. I guess I don't really do myself any favors by leaning into things that I'm just kind of kidding about, which Dang is joking too. Like it goes back to the Discord server, but we like to have a little bit of fun. Park Heights Private, if you want to be a candidate to officiate my future wedding in the year 2040, then let's talk.
2040? Well, what's that kind of talk?
Well, that's just how life's going at this point.
Oh, come on.
Ty2 Wavy is celebrating 4 months of channel membership. Congrats, Ty2. Appreciate you for being with us that long. Jang writes, before I jump into my next meeting, and this was about 20 minutes ago now, Bobby and Sarah, is this just an extension of... Okay, yeah, PHP got us started with this. So Jang writes, before I jump into my next meeting, yes, Bobby and Sarah, I am single. LOL, love you all, and I will catch you all on Discord later. I love it. Letting us know. Devin celebrating 1 month of channel membership.
Just agreeing with the chat right now. Like you're going to be 45 in the mid, like in 2040. That's not. Devin Jean Pierre says Mark Andrews is still the man. He let us down last playoffs for sure. He'll just have to make up for those playoffs when we win the Super Bowl.
Appreciate you, Devin. I think one of our French subscribers, right? I would think with that last name.
Maybe.
Let us know. Tim Hughes, 2 months of channel membership. Jacoby will forever be missed. He was my age, almost exactly. If you guys haven't watched his Ravens Untold story, watch it. You won't be disappointed, which is what you just referenced.
That's right.
For sure. Patrons, Jay Fresh 0824 and Stephen M. We appreciate you both for believing in what we're building. Thank you for being part of the Vault's Patreon community and for supporting us month in and month out. And you guys obviously are two of the many that have direct access and early access to our soft launch. It's been, I think, a really successful start to the day. Feels really good. It's a fulfilling feeling knowing that the Vault merch line is out there and it will be available to anyone and everyone in the coming weeks. So thank you to everybody who's already gotten your merch. Go check it out if you haven't already done so. It's thevaultpod.com. And if you are a Discord member, patron, channel member, hope you enjoy. Anything else?
I don't think so. I feel like we had a lot of content today.
Yeah.
Cruising.
No shortage today. And we hope that continues because, again, rookies report tomorrow. Everybody else the following week on the 22nd. So we look forward to a great, hopefully busy, active week in terms of content. On the way out, if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member. Consider becoming a patron. Consider becoming a part of the Discord community and consider popping on tomorrow. In under 23 hours from right now, when we will be back in live format. Dre Dog on the way out says special giveaway idea. A person can pick a merch item and Bobby and Sarah sign that merch item. Wow.
See, you know what? Dre's like our marketing guy now. Here we go.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? Well, look, I think there's definitely going to be kind of piggybacking off this. There's definitely going to be ways for us to give back in the form of giveaways. We just kind of need to brainstorm before the season starts. So thanks for getting us started, Dre.
One step at a time here.
Appreciate you. He's guy's an idea machine, man. So Park Heights Prophet says, I'm just saying I went in, meaning on his haul. Let's go.
Wait, PHP, did you like get one of everything? Like, what'd you get? I need to know.
Actually, weighing in. She says the wheel snapback is increasingly popular so far.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Thought that might be the case. That thing's slick.
It is slick.
Yeah. Oh, Tila's clarifying that Park Heights went in on Tila. Okay. Meaning verbally, I think.
And BHP is saying the way you phrase that. He said that was for Tila. Yeah, we gotta go.
Oh man. Classic. All right, everybody. Let's just see if anything else chimes in here. You can count on Jeremiah to say something. All right. We just created just freaking.
That was not good.
All right, off we go.
All right.
On that note, appreciate you guys. Awesome start to the week. I feel great. And partner, I hope everything's good on your end. You and I will catch up. We got a 2:00 meeting, and we will catch up with you on Tuesday at noon. As always, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the great start on the Vault merch line. We look forward to following that, and special thanks to Carly for sort of facilitating this entire thing. So we'll catch up with you tomorrow. As always, Vaultrons, we appreciate you, and thanks for spending some time with us here inside the Vault. Talk to you then.